Rise and Shine Rwanda, it's Thursday, the 15th of January.
Coming up on today's Rise and Shine Rwanda.
We take a look at an incubator guiding young creative enterprises in the right direction.
Arnold takes us all around a confident cricket player in this week's sports profile.
And we give you this week's cinematic hits and misses in Alan's movie review.
Good morning, it's just after 7 o'clock in the morning and you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Regis Isheja.
And me, Makeda Mahario. Over the next hour, we'll be bringing you all the latest news, sports, and lifestyle headlines from here in Rwanda and around the world. And the Rise and Shine team are here with us in the studio. What is going on in the world of
the money?
Well, crop production just got a major boost. I have all the details for you in the business news for today.
All right, Alan, what you got?
Well, it's movie review Thursdays. I almost forgot what day it was. It's movie review Thursdays, so I've got all the latest movies to check out over the weekend.
Lovely. And Arnold, what's up in the world of sports?
Something new, something fresh. We're going to try to do this almost every week, a profile into one of Rwanda's sports stars, and I have a sports star in the cricket world for you today.
Oh,
see, now that's some sports news that I can get into.
Oh, okay, I see how it is. All that and more still to come, but first, Rise and Shine story of the day.
Well, you may know us, but do you know how we got here? Starting this show has been a long journey, but one institution gave us the boost that we needed to getting this show from our hearts to your homes. And it's providing the same assistance to many other young and creative enterprises here in Rwanda. Do you know the Rwanda Creative Hub? The Rwanda Creative Hub nurtures new and existing businesses by providing much-needed grants and guidance, and providing opportunities that young enterprises wouldn't normally be exposed to. Founded in 2013, the Creative Hub has already directed 14 startups to new heights and has no plans to stop there.
We do three things. We launch a call for applications for businesses in the creative industry. So those businesses can be in media, in ICT, or in art. When they apply, we select the best promising businesses. We give them seed funding, which is around $20,000 US, and we give them space and equipment for the office, and then we give them mentorship, proper mentorship to start and grow a business.
And we are one of those companies. Legacy 45 Entertainment, our producers, received a grant from Creative Hub last year. And since then, Rise and Shine Rwanda has been on the fast track to making its way to you.
The Creative Hub grant that we received enabled us to start the program that you're currently watching, Rise and Shine Rwanda, on TVR. And we used most of the money to train the presenters so they could learn to be real journalists, to tell your stories, to bring the stories that you really wanted to hear to your TVs at home. Without the Creative Grant, we were really struggling as a company to provide the flagship program. It's not just a media grant. I think that's a misconception. Recently, as you'll see, some of the other recipients are in fashion, they're in ICT. It really does benefit small businesses, and it gives you the seed funding you need to start your business and eventually grow your business.
This year's winner of the grant is an online solution for access to doctors, treatment, and medicine. An online community health network right here in Rwanda, fitting right in with the Hub's criteria of content production, art, or digital solutions.
We hope that with this grant, we shall be able to improve on our website. We are going to actually do most of the things that we wanted to do, that we had been dreaming about, but because of limited finances, we couldn't do them. We are going to actually be able to fulfill our dream.
For your sake, I hope all you young creatives out there are taking note. The next winner could be you. Makeda Mahadio, Rise and Shine Rwanda. And the country director of IWPR, Lynn Morris, joins us now in studio. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. How are
Great
you?
to have you here. And excited to talk about the Rwanda Creative Hub. Now, like I said in the video, it started in 2013. What do you think that you've accomplished since it started to now?
Well, in the first round of grantees, we gave out 9 grants to a range of different businesses, of which Legacy 45 was just one. And those businesses have been kind of steadily growing. So the diversity is huge. So we have TV companies, we have an app on a phone that allows you to buy bus tickets without having to go to the bus station. So there are different things, but all of those businesses have been progressing since then. Yesterday we were, sorry, maybe it wasn't yesterday.
The day before yesterday.
We announced the winners of the second round. And in the second round, we have a fashion designer, we have a jewelry maker, and we have the health website that you saw on there. So there's a range of products, and so far it's going really well.
Now, please enlighten us and whoever is watching from home, because I get stopped all the time on the streets, and whether it is in social conversations, and I think I was telling someone off camera not too long ago, people ask me, what are the criteria to actually get to win this grant?
What we are looking for is creative startup businesses operating in Rwanda. We're looking for companies that are either working in kind of broadly defined creative sectors.
Right.
So that includes the media, it includes the arts, it includes ICT. And we're looking for companies for which, you know, a relatively small grant could make a really substantial difference. So these are not companies that have already been operating for 20 years. They're generally kind of quite young, innovative, exciting companies that are operating here.
So you chose 9 grantees in the first round. How many applications did you receive? Was it...
Gosh, I really don't know off the top of my head, but we received a lot of applications. We received a lot of applications for the second round, and we are hoping to receive a lot more applications for the third round, which is going to be opening very soon.
So for the winners, is it just that X factor that you look for?
We're looking for companies that have a kind of feasible business idea. So a lot of the applicants, we got people with great ideas, but really not a substantial idea into how to turn it into a business. This is a fund for businesses. So we're looking for for-profit companies that have the potential to really make money and employ people and generate income in Rwanda. So, that's the kind of one of the key criteria. They've got to have a kind of reasonable business plan. That is not to say that we don't help them and support them and guide them in the process of developing their business and possibly getting more funding or getting investors on board. All that kind of stuff we can help with, but they have to have a kind of realistic business idea to start with.
Now, another question I get asked very often, if you win the grant,
yeah,
let's say for one time, let's say the first time, can you reapply for another one after that, the third one, the fourth one, and so forth?
Yes, you can do that, and we have had grantees who have reapplied in the second round and won grants. I don't know for how long that is possible for, because we are hoping that the businesses will graduate from the Creative Hub. So we're really here to kind of kickstart them, and then we hope that they'll be able to go on to success on their own.
Self-sustainable and...
How do you get to rate the success in different countries in Africa that you've seen doing this so far?
Well, there are kind of similar things in other countries. I think what we're looking for here is kind of specifically Rwandan solutions to problems. So it's a different context, and we're looking for companies that are operating well in Rwanda. So it's kind of hard to compare with other countries.
So what plans do you have for the near future for Rwanda Creative Hub?
Well, we are going to announce the third round very shortly, in the next kind of month or so, and we are going to hold a series of information sessions for people who might be interested in applying. If you want to find out more, please keep looking at our website or our Facebook or our Twitter, and we will let you know when we're holding these information sessions, so you can come and ask all your questions.
So you're the country director for IWPR. Now, Creative Hub is a part of IWPR. Tell us what IWPR is.
So IWPR is an NGO that works on a variety of media projects in different countries around the world. In Rwanda, we are currently funded by the Swedish Embassy and by the Dutch Embassy, and we are working on a broad project to do with the media reforms, of which creating a vibrant and independent and exciting creative sector is just one small part.
I think it's great, the fact that IWPR is actually catering to basically the media world, but then the Creative Hub under it is basically looking at different aspects of creativity. That's pretty great, not just media.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much, Lynn.
We hope we're making you proud so far. We hope we're making you proud.
And we hope that we're making you proud as well, everyone out there.
You're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Let's get to today's business headlines. Fidelis Karangwa has the details.
Business stories making headlines today. Rwanda's crop production is expected to improve following the launch of a new project by the government and the Food and Agriculture Organization. Officials say the project will be aimed at reducing climatic risks and quality challenges along the value chain, as well as strengthening links between small-scale farmers and buyers in the root and tuber sector in Africa. The crops include cassava, yams, and sweet potatoes. Transparency and accountability was top on the agenda at a three-day meeting held in Kigali on the role of Parliament in the development of extractive industries. Economists called on legislators to be transparent and responsible if revenues generated in the sector are to have a positive impact on the economy. Officials say that good governance was the solution to curb challenges faced by developing countries in utilizing their natural resources. And China has signed a deal to build a 480-kilometer railway link between Kenya's largest seaport of Mombasa and Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, and South Sudan. The railway, which will cost over $3 billion, is the first to be built in Kenya in a century and will be designed with a transportation capacity of 25 million metric tons, based on China's railway standards. With Kenya already on board, talks are underway with the remaining 5 countries to start this project. You are up to date with today's business headlines. Sports news coming up next in just a minute with Arnold Quizera.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Time now for your sports news with me, Arnold Quizera. Starting with cycling, Team Rwanda has set its eyes on the yellow jersey as they embark on putting on an impressive show at next week's tour of Egypt. The team, comprising of Tour du Rwanda winner Valence Ndaisenga, Janvier Hadi, Patrick Byukusenge, Emile Buntinimana, Joseph Biziyaremye and Bonaventure Uwezimana left Kigali last evening under the tutelage of coach Felix Sempoma as American Jonathan Boyer is on a short holiday. Sempoma led the team in their last appearance in Egypt in 2013. Janvier Hadi won bronze in the under-23 category then. Moving on to the Africa Cup of Nations, Equatorial Guinea's participation in this year's Africa Cup of Nations tournament is questionable, but what isn't questionable is their commitment to host the continental showpiece. Having hosted the last tournament to be held in an even year, Equatorial Guinea will hope the lack of an underdog tag and having the host mentor will enable them put up an impressive performance in Saturday's opening game of the Orange Africa Cup of Nations against Congo-Brazzaville on Saturday. The hosts will hope to go past the group stages in a pool that also has Gabon and Burkina Faso. And finally, in cricket, he was one of Rwanda's best players at last year's Under-19 tournament in Zambia and an all-rounder for the national team. The sky is the limit for Don Mugisha. I caught up with this young sportsman recently at the Kichuchiro cricket grounds.
Don Mugisha is a former Under-19 cricket captain who put up an impressive performance at a recent regional tournament. During the current cricket off-season, I caught up with this rather interesting young national team all-rounder to find out who he is.
Don Mugisha is an artist. He's a Rwandan artist. I really like arts, and I'm 23 years old. I've been playing cricket now is 7 years. Yeah, former Itoki Trishiro. So I was in senior 2. That's when I started playing cricket. I came here at the ground. The ground was over there, and then I saw Indian expatriates playing cricket, so I joined them and then said, "Oh, you go there and catch, because they can't allow you to play to hold the bat. So go there and throw the ball to them." So we started playing like that.
When it comes to his most fun moments as a cricket player, there is nothing better than the sight of Kanombe Airport for this Machurio player. But just like most Rwandans, the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi is his darkest cloud.
I went to Swaziland. It was my first time to go into the airplane. So it's my best thing, because here even Rwanda in Africa, to go in the flight. So it's a great thing. So that's my amazing thing that I got from cricket. That was like the first thing when you say cricket. Always the Kanombe Airport. So, Divide and Rule brought genocide, brought ethnic groups in our lives. So I really regret a lot being in Africa, where we are overwhelmed by the result from Divide and Rule.
Lean and always in shape, it's surprising what this big fan of West Indies cricket and batsman Chris Gales loves to eat.
Favorite food is potatoes.
In the day, I used to take on the best batsmen in my primary school, but of late, I'm kind of not in the best of shape. But today I tried out my luck against his former under-19 captain and the current national team player, Don Mugisha. Let's see if he hit me for 6. He can't handle. I'll be going.
After such a bad display, I guess I need to work on my game in the nets. Arnold, Quizera, Rise and Shine Rwanda.
Well, joining me in the studios, that's me trying out my luck at cricket. Joining me in the studios is one of the pioneers of the game, Mr. Charles Haber, and one of the national team players, Ed Pearson, and Rwanda Cricket Stadium Foundation director, if I would say.
Correct,
yeah. Charles, let's start with Don Mugisha. I think you saw him from when he was about 14, 13, play this game of cricket. What has led Don to even go on to captain the Rwandan team, in Zambia?
One of the biggest pluses of our cricket program is our schools development program. And when you look at people like Don coming and growing through the ranks, it's really very fulfilling. It shows that really where you're able to grow the game from the grassroots, you can actually reap big. Boys like Don and his other colleagues who are his age mates, and some few of them have been extremely lucky to shine at the international stage, leave alone at the local scene. He's one of the few players today whom every club would like to have within their ranks. So it is really fulfilling to see that the fruits of our schools development program are coming out such brightly.
Ed, you're a person who has played against Don, in the local clubs, and also played with him on the national team. What's, to go back to what I asked Charles, what's different about Don Mugisha?
Don he's very single-minded. He absolutely loves his cricket. He sort of eats, sleeps, dreams cricket, and he practices very, very hard. And that's, the key to success in life, but particularly cricket. So that's one thing. He's a naturally gifted player. He's got very good hand-eye coordination, and he's a good athlete. And you bring all those together, and you've got a very, very, very strong player.
Going back to Charles, you talked about earlier about your school programs, and now we are looking at Rwanda Cricket Association. I've been telling people so many times of how well organized cricket is in the country. You're putting up all these grassroots programs. One of your the biggest programs which you're going to have, which may take you to be at par with the likes of Kenya and Uganda in the region, is the Rwanda Cricket Stadium Foundation. Where did this dream start from?
Let me first go back a little bit to our growth. The biggest single impediment towards the growth of Rwandan cricket has been facilities. To date, the only cricket ground we have that is worthy of a little bit of mention is our current Kichikiro ground that you've been to a few times, Arnold. Now, with facilities like that, you're very limited in as far as how far you can grow. So we have grown to the extent to which we could manage to grow, but at the same time we have done ourselves justice on the field by going to the international level and performing well, either as a senior side or as an under 19 side, both at women and men's levels. So the missing link has been an internationally acclaimed facility. So sometime back, I think into 2011, we do have warm relations with a group of people from the UK called the Mubano Project, and they've been coming to Rwanda for several years. And out of the offspring of one of those trips, we had a good friend of Rwanda, the late Christopher Shell, whose son was playing with us and whose other son had helped us renovate our current facility. So on one of his trips, he said, I am going to play a role in improving your facilities. Now, unfortunately, he passed away, but he passed away after he had made that commitment to himself, to the other members of the project, to Mubano, and to his family. So from then on, his family and the whole Project Mubano team took it on, and we are very excited that over the years, the planning and all the thought process, the resource mobilization, the funds, the support from the different stakeholders, government, sponsors, and the corporate world and individuals is finally coming to fruition.
Okay. To take you back to the question that Charles did answer, Ed, what does it take to have, to convince the likes of Ntini, Michael Vaughan to contribute towards this cricket stadium foundation?
Not too much really. I think Rwanda is a special place in terms of its landscape, its people, and its history. And people who love cricket always want to see the game spread into new areas. And it's clear from the great work that the RCA are doing that if you invest and support Rwandan cricket, it's going to a good location. And so that's it makes an easy sell from our perspective, and to push this game forward.
Okay. Now, Charles, to go back to the cricket administration, in general, there's something cricket has done different from other sports in this country. Now, like the issue of naturalized players, that's one way, which cricket has, because a lot of us Rwandans didn't grow up in Rwanda, so cricket has given these people a chance, to play the sport that they love in Rwanda. When you're coming up with this kind of mindset and ideology, what's your driving point and what's your dream for cricket in this country?
Well, your question has very many ends to it. I'll try to
pick out.
Yeah, let me start by answering the one where we've been a little bit different. First of all, like any other sport, we have had our own challenges. Our motto is we're growing with every step, and we are proud to say that we are growing. We did start when Rwanda played its first ever international tournament in 2004. We struggled so much to raise 11 players. So I remember in that team we had 4 indigenous players, and the rest were comprising of our Asian friends. Now, over time, that has become something different. Again, let me go back to our grassroots program that has been of great success to us. But also, and I will say this at the risk of bragging, I think we are amongst the very few sports federations, if not the only, that have mastered the distinction between the board and the operations, such that the elected members of the cricket body do not necessarily get involved in the day-to-day operations. We have a general manager who runs the operations, and therefore the board is left to deal with strategic matters and driving the game and the whole sport forward. The other nitty-gritty of who is playing who is paying who, when does this club do this, when, you know, all these things that you find our colleagues doing, I think that is one thing that that I think the other sports disciplines need to borrow from us. And this is what it has led us to do. It has given an advantage to the board to be able to think about the bigger picture and therefore grow at a faster rate. And then leave the day-to-day operations to the office to therefore drive
well,
it.
I think all sports should pick a leaf.
Yeah.
Last question, all of you, before I wrap up. My producer's going to kill me. Ed, the World Cup is a few weeks away. Who is your favorite for the World Cup?
England.
England. Is it because you're rooting from England?
Maybe, yeah.
Charles?
It's a very tricky one. I'll start with my supporters. I mean, the teams I support. I think it would be nice to see the West Indies win the World Cup. Yeah. But I think the team to watch is Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka.
Yes.
No,
he's out. He's out. But you have Kumar Sangakkara, Mahela Jawadena. Angelo Matthews is probably the cricketer of the year. He's their captain, a young man at that.
I'll say something about that with my Proteas.
Yeah.
Thank you, both Ed and Charles, for coming to the show. Regis and Makeda will be right back for the latest news headlines.
Welcome back, and you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. Let's take a look now at news-making headlines here in Rwanda and around the world.
The former mayor of Nyamasheke district, Jean-Baptiste Habyarimana, was arrested for the mismanagement of the district's Mutuelle de Santé funds. Habyarimana had tendered his resignation last week, citing personal reasons. He follows the former Rusizi district mayor, Oscar Nzeimana, who who was arrested in connection with fraud surrounding Mutuelle de Santé.
The Ministry of Disaster Management and Refugee Affairs, together with Rwanda National Police and the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, has organized a mock exercise to evaluate the response of institutions to refugee influx. The 3-day exercise brought together participants from various institutions to test their capabilities in responding to emergency situations and provide them with more skills in handling issues like mass migration. Officials say the training is aimed at improving the national abilities to work together during a crisis. Rwanda is home to over 70,000 refugees, with the majority coming from the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Local internet hosting is set to be the key to the development of online ecosystem in emerging countries. This comes after a report by the Ministry of Youth and ICT and the Rwanda Information and Communication Technology Association showed that the spread of locally relevant internet content was attractive to users, but almost all commercial websites in Rwanda were hosted abroad. Experts said strengthening the environment for hosting local content could have a positive impact on stakeholders and the local internet economy.
And in international news, a senior commander in the Ugandan militia group the Lord's Resistance Army is to be sent to the International Criminal Court for trial. Dominic Ongwen, considered by some to be a deputy to LRA chief Joseph Kony, was taken into United States custody last week. Rebels in the Central African Republic are saying Ongwen was captured by US officials, said he defected. The LRA has abducted thousands of children for fighting and sex slavery. Both Ongwen and warlord Joseph Kony are wanted by the ICC for crimes against humanity. The United States first deployed about 100 special forces in 2011 to support thousands of African troops searching for the group's commanders. Time now for a review of the headlines. Matthew Rwahigi joins us now to look through some of the front pages. I got the name down, Rwahigi.
After a great time of rehearsal.
Hey, it took time, but I got there. All right, so let's talk about Rwanda's medical situation. We know about Vianney Mutabazi. He was here on the show. Makeda did a great piece on him. Now, I was reading an article in New Times yesterday, actually, about him having to go to India and how we should have facilities over here and how he shouldn't have had to go over there if he had medical insurance, if we had the Ministry of Health had enough doctors to take care of the problem to begin with. What do you think about the piece?
Okay, yeah. Regis, there are two things that I think we should be looking at here. One is the government entirely responsible for what happened, or what is the situation of the medical insurance or medical facilities in Rwanda? Is the whole blame supposed to go straight to the government? And the second thing is, who is to blame then if it's not entirely the government? So one, the area of the government, I acknowledge the fact that the government should have made more investments. If you look at how much of the money that is sent into some of these health facilities is lost in mismanagement of the funds, in mismanagement of the health facilities themselves. There's a lot of money lost there that would be used in developing some of these high or rare case disease facilities. But then the other thing is to do with health insurance. I think the government of Rwanda has done quite a very tremendous job in the last 20 years. In fact, I shouldn't even make it 20, the last decade, 10 years, because if you look at how many health insurance or private health insurance companies have come into the country, they are quite very many. Right. So they should be able to administer some of the things that you're talking about here. But then when you look at the public now, the public area, public insurance, we have what we call the Rwanda Social Security Board, what used to be RAMA. We also have the Mutuelle de Santé. But when you look at the management of all these ones and the way people, the beneficiaries themselves, use these facilities, I think also the blame has to also go a little bit to the beneficiaries themselves. There's a lot of fraud. I was talking to people in RSSB just a little bit earlier before I came in here, and when they showed the numbers of how much money they lose in terms of fraud, people, you, Regis, you have Raman, you decide to bring your father in, you decide to bring your mother in, but they're not part of the legal beneficiaries to your scheme. So when you look at the money lost in the fraud itself, it could be able to help support some of these facilities. Right. But because people misuse the opportunities, we still have this funny cultural connotation that when I have money or when I'm the big boss in my family, I have to have the whole extended family on my side, and then I expect the schemes to be able to support this, which is not possible. So I think there's a little bit of mindset change that we need to do in terms of health insurance, not only for the government, but also for us, the beneficiaries. But then there's also that other side where you need to also focus a little bit as a government on some of these rare cases.
Now, another thing where the government is involved here is the Rusumo border. I mean, it's between Tanzania and Rwanda. It's what connects our both countries, especially when it comes to exchanges, economic exchanges. It's great for our economy and for their economy. What are the latest developments?
Okay, Saturday, it was Saturday, I think. The government, the two governments and the Japanese were launching the Rusumo border, one-stop border post, and the international bridge at that point. So when you look at, perhaps I will only focus on the one-stop border post. These facilities, I think, the Legislative Assembly of the East African Community, I think, launched or accepted the bill, voted for the bill in 2013. So when you look at these facilities, there are two main things for me I would focus on. One, the infrastructure development that comes with the one-stop border post, because it doesn't end with the one-stop border post. It also continues on the road infrastructure that connects the two countries. So if you look at the Rusumo border, I managed to travel a little bit after the border, a few kilometers into Tanzania, and when you look at the roads compared to what it was, everything has changed completely. They are new structures. When you look at the bridge itself, it's a new structure, 80 meters, very, very international, very good standard. So the infrastructure development that comes with the one-stop border post is very important. But the second thing, it's not just about investing money into infrastructure. This infrastructure should be able to deliver what they are invested in for. Right. So if you get $32 million and you invest in the Rusumo International Bridge and the one-stop border post, what are the returns? What do we get in the end of the day? So it is about the soft structure. Do we get the operational systems that can run these one-stop border posts to deliver the jobs they are supposed to deliver? So are you going to be able to run this one-stop border post 24/7 because you want people to increase how much they move across this border? Are you going to be able to bring the necessary human resource to be able to operate this one border post to standard? So those are the key questions that I think we need to be able to ask, which I'm not sure have already been done so far.
All right, and now, before times are now, let's talk about Burundi. Elections coming up. It seems to be a little bit of disorder out there. Is this an African curse? Because we know DRC, they have elections coming up, some kind of disorder going there. Also, we know what happened in Burkina Faso. What's going on in Burundi?
The Burundian case, you realize that there have been attacks from both sides. They've killed, ruling party leaders, some of them who are in the coalition. They sent the Day of the Day coalition. You have had a couple of rebel attacks. Here the government is fighting rebel attacks in the northern part of Bujumbura. But when you look at the case, to me, I think it is still a problem of trying to adopt Western style of leadership for Africa. You can't just pick. Democracy is not, I don't think democracy should be typed. I don't think what happens in France or what happens in Belgium or Sweden should be able to be uprooted from where it is and brought straight into Africa without adoption. So there's still that gap, and I think that is still the case for Africa, adopting what we don't own.
All right, Matthew, thank you very much for always enlightening us.
Pleasure.
Appreciate that. All right, lots more still to come. Lifestyle is up next. And of course, we look at what's hot right now in our daily debate section, Hot Topics. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Time for a little bit of lifestyle. Alan, what you got for us today?
Well, it's Movie Review Thursday, so I've got movies.
Oh yeah, baby.
All right, so let's get into our first movie. I'm sure you guys want to maybe check out a movie in the theaters this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna say anything. I think let's just first check out the trailer.
Okay.
So, Edmundo sends you to come find the Oracle. What exactly do you do? I provide best man services for guys who lack in such areas.
So I'm not alone?
Alone? No. I'm in a very profitable business because of guys like you. How many weddings do you think were in the U.S. last year? 2.4 million. There were 2.4 million grooms. Do you think that each one of them has someone to be their best man?
I never knew people like you existed.
How you looking with groomsmen?
I need 7.
You need seven groomsmen?
I do.
You're asking me to pull off a golden tux. Too many things can go wrong. No.
But there's a name for it.
There's also a name for a horse with a horn on his head. It's called a unicorn. Don't mean I can get you one.
I need your help.
This is strictly a business relationship. You're not buying a new front.
All right, so that's The Wedding Ringer, starring Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart, it's starting to feel like he's the go-to guy when it comes to comedy movies.
You know, I feel like he's the new Eddie Murphy.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when Eddie Murphy at one point was like the it guy for comedy, he's definitely hilarious. And this is just a really funny comedy. It's about a gentleman he's getting married and he doesn't have a best man. And he basically hires Kevin Hart's character to find him groomsmen. And it's just hilarious.
Oh, that's gonna
be funny. From the start, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Watching this movie, and I'm sure this is based from like something that happens in America. You can actually hire someone to find your best man. Isn't that crazy?
But
why would you have to go through all that?
I mean, in the movie, the guy doesn't have a best friend or
then just don't have a best man.
Yes. It's not like you're forced to have one.
That's true. But then what if your future wife has bridesmaids?
Then use your future wife's brothers and friends. Anyway,
let's go on to the next movie.
I think that's going to be a funny one. Definitely
Absolutely.
Gonna check it out.
So the next one is a family movie. It's a Disney movie. Let's check out the trailer.
Have the curse reversed?
So it's a beautiful family movie. It's a musical, Disney musical, starring Meryl Streep, who is always awesome, Johnny Depp, Emily Blunt, and many. Yes,
it's like a who's who.
Yeah, it's a huge movie, and you know it's a big movie, and it's one of those movies. It brings a lot of Disney characters, you know, and as you saw, like Rapunzel and
Jack
stuff
and the
like
Beanstalk.
That. Exactly. So I mean, if you're into that kind of family movie, Disney movies.
I love Meryl Streep. Basically, anything
she can't
does,
do wrong.
She's easily the greatest. I think the greatest actress we've ever seen.
I heard a joke one day saying that Meryl Streep could play Batman and she would be right.
She would be on point.
I agree.
I believe she is right.
She's amazing.
Definitely looking forward to that.
Devil Wears Prada is still my favorite Meryl Streep movie.
Yeah?
She killed that movie.
She has a ton of them. Like you don't even know which one to choose.
Yeah.
She's great.
She's awesome. All right, so speaking of old movies, time to talk about the cult classic.
Okay,
all right, the cult classic. I think let's check it out and talk about it.
Everybody comes to Hollywood, got a dream. What's your dream?
When I was a little girl, I would pretend I was a princess, trapped in the tower, and then this knight on a white horse would come charging up and rescue me.
Could you tell me how to get to Beverly Hills?
Sure. For $5.
You can't charge me for directions.
I can do anything I want to, baby. I ain't lost.
All right, okay. You have change for 20?
For 20, I'll show you person. Wow.
Impressed?
You kidding me? I come here all the time. Well, color me happy. There's a sofa in here for 2. Close your mouth, dear.
Who is this girl here? Does she work? She's in sales.
Touchstone Pictures presents the story of a date.
This isn't a date, it's business.
That led to a deal.
Classic!
I don't know you guys said it at the same time.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, let me see how well you know this movie. What year did Pretty Woman come out?
Oh, Lord.
93?
Even older,
1990.
90?
Yes, 1990. So like almost 25 years ago. Isn't that crazy?
Gosh.
Like I remember it as a child.
Way before I was born.
Right.
Well, that's a classic.
It's a classic movie starring Richard Gere, Julia Roberts.
I love that movie.
And you know, it's about a female street. There's a name someone calls them Lady of the Night. Let's call her a Lady of the Night. Who,
or woman of pleasure. It depends on what you're trying to say.
Anyway, so basically Richard Gere plays this businessman who, stops to ask for directions, and
they go on a whirlwind adventure.
Exactly, one thing leads to another, and
that's all you gotta say. That's all you gotta say.
Love happens. Okay, I love it. I love that movie.
I feel like watching it again. Anyway,
me too.
So before we wrap up, I think it's time for me to, give the movie review question of the week. So if you want to win free movie tickets, the movie review question of the week is: what movie did Julia Roberts win her first Oscar? Is it A, Pretty Woman? Is it B, Still Magnolias? Or C, Erin Brockovich? So you can email, tweet, or Facebook us the answer, and the first 2 people to respond will win movie tickets. Again, the question is: what movie did Julia Roberts win her first Oscar? Is it A, Pretty Woman, B, Still Magnolias, or C, Erin Brockovich? Don't go anywhere. Hot Topics is coming right up. Welcome back, and it's that Hot Topics time again. As always, the Rise and Shine team have been out and about gathering everything you need to know about what's happening here and around the world. From what's trending on Twitter to the debates in your local cafe, we've got it right here, right now. Okay, let's get into our first hot topic, guys. So this one is something that I read and I was like, this is super cool for Rwanda. You guys have heard of Nyungwe Forest Lodge, right?
Of course.
That's in the Nyungwe National Park. Well, it actually got recently voted among the 10 tourist destinations that give the best travel experience by CNN's 2015 Safari Awards. So this is a huge deal. Imagine being recognized among many, I guess,
tourist
safari
destinations.
resorts, and being in the top 10 for 2015. So this is great for tourism, it's great for the country, and it's more exposure. I was so proud to read about that.
Great, someone to take me there for my birthday.
You guys, oh.
Well, he has a long time for his birthday.
Well, you know what?
Someone take us there.
You know what? Maybe I can do a lifestyle story, and you can just tag along.
Why do you always do that? The fun stuff.
Find a sports angle somewhere.
You look at Alan getting all the cool stories. Come on.
I'm not gonna let you have that.
Okay, let's go on to the next topic. So I don't know if you guys have heard, but there's a chess prodigy named Fiona Mutesi. And there's actually a documentary that came out, and also a book as well. The book was called "The Queen of Katwe: A Story of Life, Chess, and one extraordinary girl's dream of becoming a grandmaster chess player." So basically, the movie is a Disney movie. It's going to be actually starring Lupita Nyong'o. They haven't really given any details as to when it's coming out, but the director Mira Nair, if I'm saying it correctly, is currently working on it in Uganda. Now, if you guys don't know who Mira Nair is, she's the one that, one of her biggest movies was Mississippi Masala, which had Denzel in it.
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
Yes.
It's also Ugandan related.
It's also, the movie was actually shot in Uganda as well. Right. She lives in Uganda, so I think that's where a lot of the influence comes from. But anyway, this girl has a really inspiring story. You know, she grew up in the slums, lost her father to HIV and AIDS, and she picked up chess and just has become one of the best players in the world. And she's very young.
Those stories.
Underdog stories.
Right. Yes. And
that's why she's called Queen of Katwe, because Katwe is a ghetto area.
It's a ghetto area.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah. It's kind of like Slumdog Millionaire type.
Okay.
You know.
That's a really good story.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not very many chess players that you hear about becoming famous, especially from Africa. So we're exporting the good stuff.
Exactly. A young girl from the slums. Hey,
Yeah.
you know.
Hey man, that just goes to show wherever you're from, you also have the capability that anyone has. You just need the opportunity.
Your dreams are valid.
I was gonna say, it sounds like the quote from Lupita's speech at the Oscars. All right, the next hot topic is one that I think most of us would be very upset if we're from the UK. So it seems as though the Prime Minister, David Cameron, ever since the shooting that happened in Paris. Yes. So he's saying, as part of measures to crack down on terrorism, they might be banning WhatsApp groups such as WhatsApp apps. Did I say WhatsApp apps? Apps, sorry. Mobile apps such as WhatsApp, iMessage, or Snapchat, because they say, I guess they can't actually, police cannot go into these apps if, let's say, they're, investigating a terrorist, a potential terrorist, or anything like that. So basically what he's saying, it's not yet in place, but what he's saying is that come 2016, they plan on actually legislating to ban those apps if he's still prime minister. Although a lot of people went on Twitter and said, if that's the case, they're not going to vote for him because a lot of people, especially the young generation.
These measures are starting to scare me because yesterday I was watching television. They were saying that the French politicians right now, especially the right wing, they're exploring actually getting a Patriot Act, just like they did in the States after September 11th, which will mean if you're black or of Arab origin,
are you kidding me?
They could stop you and hold you as long as they want because they think you might be a terrorist with no proof, just because you look menacing. That's what happened after 2001, basically. Right. So they're saying they might have to do that, but let's see what the left says. But it's basically the same thing here. They're trying to scare people. And it's working. The terrorists are trying to scare people and it's working. People are reacting. It's not good.
I mean, for me, I don't think that if you ban WhatsApp, Snapchat, and iMessage, that's going to bring down terrorism. I mean, for me, I just don't see how it's that relevant.
Well, Alan,
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Exactly, we're going to have to wait and see, but we do want to know what you guys are thinking out there. Do not forget that we love to hear your thoughts, your comments, and your feedback on what we're talking about here on Rise and Shine Rwanda. Tweet us at Rise and Shine RW. Like us on Facebook and send us your ideas for programs. Check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda YouTube page where you can catch all the shows and reports that we do. Find us on Instagram, Rise and Shine RW. We love to see your photos. Or check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda website.
Well, that's all the time we have for today, but do let us know if you have ideas or feedback for the program. You're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. I'm Regis Isheja.
And I'm Makeda Mahadio. We will be back here same time, same place tomorrow, TGIF, Regis.
Right.
It's gonna be a good time. All right, but until then, please have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you guys soon. From the two of us and the rest of the team, goodbye.
Bye-bye.